Hello everyone, my name is Danny. This review is for the movie called Capone. This is a 2020 film. It came out May of this year and it is rated R. It runs an hour and 45 minutes and it stars Tom Hardy, Linda Cardellini, and Matt Dillon. The description of this is the 47-year-old Al Capone, after 10 years in prison, starts suffering from dementia and comes to be haunted by his violent past. This is Capone. Well, thank you everybody for watching this video. If you'd like any correspondence with me outside of YouTube, I do have my Facebook page. It's called Danny's Movies and Music. If you'd like to check that out, that'd be great. This does have a lot of views and grades on imdb.com, which is the website I use, and that's good. Since being out in May, I don't think it's had a huge release of a bunch of different platforms, but it is available, so that's good that it has that many grades, though. People are watching this. So we start off with the fact that this movie has some big stars. Tom Hardy, Matt Dillon, good to have those guys. There are a couple other people that we recognize. That's good. The idea of this movie about being about Al Capone, he's a big figure in history. There's a line in this movie saying, "You want to know the difference between Hitler and Capone? Capone is alive." We have to deal with him. So it's a big concept for a movie. He's a big historical figure. But the idea of this movie just isn't quite there. We've had movies like this before, like Da Vinci's last year, where he's just out in the countryside and stuff, and we've had this concept before. I don't really know why people want to make these movies. What's the intrigue about it, other than that they're about interesting people? But the last year in life it's kind of a boring concept. So this movie does trend to be pretty boring. I watched it when I had a little bit of free time last night, and I was dangerously close to falling asleep. And a couple times it was just so boring. It wasn't doing anything, and I admire Tom Hardy and his willingness to try and act very deeply, but he just doesn't have much to go off of. There's a lot of grunts, there's a lot of sitting down, there's a lot of lines about not remembering things, and generally he's going crazy the whole time. But I'll get into that in a second. But there's just so much that a good actor like Tom Hardy can do with a character like this. Matt Dillon, short and sweet statement about him is, I don't know if he's real or not in this movie. He seems like a figment of his imagination, but he's around a lot. I don't know. I can't really tell. So then we get into the crazy stuff, which is obviously Capone is withering away, and a lot of stuff in his mind is making more sense than stuff in the real world. And so we get a lot of scenes where stuff's happening, but it's either obvious that it's in his mind and in his imagination, or it looks like it's happening in real life, but then some details are skewed once we get back snapped into reality, and like part of it's true and part of it's not. And I just don't like making sense of a movie. Like if it's going to be that confusing, then just make it a little bit more clear, or just don't have the scene. And so with the boredom factor, with the things that are not based in reality, with the ending saying what it says, I'm just going to tell you that Capone supposedly buried money, but nobody ever found it. That's the ending. I'm like, okay, thanks for telling us. I don't think you should make movies like this just based off of interesting people in history, because it's not an interesting movie to make. It's just kind of sad. It ends up being a movie about an older person withering away, and all of us experience that in life pretty much. Some kind of older person around us getting sick and forgetting things, and it could be anybody. This movie could be about any older person, but it just happens to be about Capone, who was a historical figure. And I know his story is kind of unique, but I just don't feel like this movie is. So I'm going to give it my lowest grade of a D. It does have a pretty brutal grade online also. And I just cannot recommend watching this, even with the people that it has in it. So a D for Capone. Thanks a lot, guys. My name is Danny. If you like this or any of my other videos, try and get some of them to watch. Like and subscribe to my channel if you would. And enjoy your movies. Thanks.